Hi folks, we're in the Cobb TV studio for our weekly visit with Cobb Commission Chairman Mike Boyce, and this will be the Thanksgiving edition. Next week is Thanksgiving, but you, as well as many others, will be heading off to family.
Yes, what we did, as we saw this week, we combined both a zoning hearing, the zoning board, and the nightly meeting into one day. So the idea was that next week the board would have met on Tuesday night, and look, let's be real here. Tuesday night before Thanksgiving, that's not the night to have a meeting. Thanksgiving is probably the biggest travel day of the year. So I think it was best to combine the two and let's get out of town. So I'm hoping everybody takes advantage of their vacation time to enjoy their family and their friends next week.
We should mention we're going to be doing something similar December with our December meeting,
right,
which has been combined into one meeting on Monday the 16th.
Sure.
And we'll be putting a lot of information about that out on our social media and our calendars in the coming weeks, but that's another big change.
It is. My experience has been that the night meeting on December was pro forma. You know, we all showed up with our Christmas ties and our Christmas shirts, and you know, we did our thing, and then we were gone after a half hour, 45 minutes. And that's a lot of effort by the staff to put together something for 45 minutes. So what I told the board is that we're going to combine the two meetings into one, make it a night meeting, and the week before Christmas, in the same sort of mindset, is that when we're done with that, then again, I hope that the staff takes the maximum opportunities with their vacation time to go enjoy their family and their friends, and the public itself, you know, can realize that we're still working, but we're doing it in a more efficient manner.
Well, as you get ready to travel for the holidays, you also mentioned that you continue your tradition that you've had since you've been here of traveling with our local law enforcement personnel, doing these ride-alongs, which is taken on a little bit additional perspective given what we've done for law enforcement in recent months. Yes,
well, you know, it's amazing what goes on in this county, both good and bad, that you see through a lens of the ride-alongs with our law enforcement. And there's a couple observations that I want to make about that. First of all, we know we had some problem children, problem landlords down in South Cobb. And that came to height during the ride-alongs with the precinct 2 commanders down there. And the officers, it's amazing how much they know about the areas that they patrol. You know, they know where the bad people hang out. They know what some of the issues are of being targeted by the bad people. So the Riverside issue came to light through many ride-alongs down there. And we finally, I'm no doubt in my mind, that the task force that we organized in the spring of combining fire, code enforcement, and public safety to target these apartments, to finally make that landlord do what he needed to do to make sure these people, you know, would live in decent conditions. In other words, the landlord should have been living all along, should have been living up to the standard that these people signed contracts, and he simply was not. That landlord sold those apartments last week, and he's now gone. All right, and he leaves no legacy that's worth mentioning in Cobb County. It's just unfortunate and sad what he did to those people there in those 3 apartment complexes. And we've been assured by the new apartment owners that they're going to do some remedies immediately coming out of the gate. But there's still a lot of work to be doing down there, and that task force down there is still going to be doing its job. But this week's task ride-along with another fine young officer, I was taken to an area there that, again, I'm not sure how we let this mobile home park you know, degrade to the status there where some of the mobile homes down there are absolutely uninhabitable. And what they do is that the bad people can see where these people are, so they start, or these places are, so they go and they start using them to take over the you know, the mobile home or the homes, and they use them for substance abuse. They use them, you know, or they just take them over and they just sleep in there. And I'm not sure how this is possible because the police officers know who these people are. So it's a matter of now getting our code enforcement and our public safety to work more and more. But the glue to that clearly is my interest in these areas. All right, when the chairman starts asking code enforcement or community development and public safety, what are we doing about these places to bring them up to a standard that meets our standard of living? They get a little more visibility, and that's what I'm focusing on now. There are some mobile home parks along Atlanta Road that have reached a point that made the Riverside apartments look like the Taj Mahal. And I'm assured that they're going to court on December 5th. Some of them have over 100 code enforcement violations written on them. And again, I don't know how we can, in this county that is as prosperous as it is, how we let these kind of places exist in our county. But it's not a perfect world. Our staff can only do so much. But I can tell you that by the time I became aware of the situation, they had been doing their job. But I made a couple calls to the solicitor, let them know that this is an area like the Riverside Apartments that we need to be spending some time on to make sure that we force these landlords to do what they're doing here. And we'll not fix them overnight, but I'll guarantee you we're going to get the same result we did down there in Riverside Drive, that the landlords are going to realize that they have now brought their actions to my attention, and hopefully they won't be sorry. But if they don't fix it down there, they will be sorry.
You mentioned also that during your ride-alongs, you get some perspective on what the board's action about providing more benefits, pay for public safety personnel in this county, what effects those are having on the...
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. The officer that I was riding along with the other night, he had a new take-home car, and look, I got grandkids almost as old as he is. But it's something when you see a 24-year-old officer who is really excited about his job. He's been in the force 3 years now, and he was amazing. He really was. He was pumped. But one of the reasons he was so excited is that he had been given his take-home car, and his take-home car was a brand new Dodge Charger. Now, I'll tell you, I remember when I was 24 years old, if I'd been given a Dodge Charger to play with, I can't even imagine with blue lights on top. But he was so professional in his job, and all the things that he talked about that he wanted to do there and what he was already doing there. He graduated from Osborne High. He's a product of Cobb County, and he's a product of the Police Explorers. He is an incredible young man, and I think he reflects the police force we have today, because I see today, they talked about the fact that the new license plate readers that we're putting throughout the county are making a difference in catching the bad people. All the new funding, all the funding we've been provided into public safety for things like new cars, for new officers. We additional funding to hire new police officers. So it doesn't force us to lower our standards. Yeah, we're still less than what we need to be, but I'm seeing accumulation of all the efforts over the last 3 years of raising their compensation, adding to their benefits, providing new equipment. I'm seeing that played out now throughout the county as I ride with them. I'm doing a ride along tonight with the DUI task force. So I'm just, it's not just a matter of providing them additional funding. I'm seeing the impact of that. And, it's going to take a while to see if what we've done for them is going to make a difference to retain them. But if my ride alongs this week are an indication that what the board has done is going to have a big play in keeping these fine officers and making sure that Cobb County continues to be a place where we can safely work, live, play, and pursue our dreams.
All right, and we're not done yet. I mean, we've got more things in the pipeline.
As we know, I've made it very clear that my priorities in next year's budget are no increase in the millage rate, continue to reduce the water fund transfer, and step and grade for our public safety. And I'm understanding that we're very close to being able to put something out there even before the budget next year. We have the funding in the budget to do a step and grade, as early as next spring. What that looks like is something I'm waiting for for Chief Kreider and Chief Cox to put together, along with Sheriff Warren, to see what that looks like. But my only counsel to all three of them was that everybody has to get something, all right? I don't want to have a class warfare here between our public safety officials, between the sheriff, deputies, firemen, and police officers. They all collectively work together to make sure that this is a safe county. So county managers has told me that we're very close to having something we can put before the board. The good news is that the prosperity of the county has created the tax digest with the revenue that we can use to pay for this program of step and grade. And again, you can't talk about making public safety your number one priority right up to the time you have to pay for it. There is no reason that we cannot fund a step and grade of some measure either in the spring or next fall, depending on when the board passes it. The money is there, and it doesn't require any additional supplemental tax increase or borrowing money from somebody else. We don't have to Ralph and Peter to pay Paul this. The tax digest is providing the revenue that we need to finally start paying our public safety what it is that they warrant based on their actions.
Also, I saw some pictures. Wasn't able to attend it, but the Transportation and Mobility Summit, the Chamber hosted down at the Cobb Energy Performing Arts Center yesterday, seemed to last a long time, so they must have had a lot on their plate.
Yeah, it was all day, but I think the takeaway for me is that ARC recently put out some information that Cobb County by 2050 is going to be a county of 1 million people, right? 1 million people. Look, as much as I would love to preserve the legacy of what the county looked like during the days of Ernest Barrett, that's a fairy tale that has come and gone. People are coming here because of so many things. We have quality education, we have a quality lifestyle, we have a terrific public safety. All the factors are bringing people here, and we have a land use map that that makes it attractive for them to come here. But we have to start spending money on the infrastructure to accommodate these people. If we don't want to have 1 million people here in Cobb County, then we need to go back as a board and change the land use map to stop the development here. But once you stop the development, then you have the risk of a growing population and aging population that over time doesn't bring in the revenue to support the amenities that we have here. So it's one of those things of what's the balance between the right level of commercial development and residential. Because residential development, for every dollar that comes out of that tax from their houses, we deliver them $1.60 in public services. You do not pay for the services you get in this county with your residential property taxes. We need the commercial development here in Cobb County to bring in the additional revenue that offsets the shortfall that residential property taxes do not bring. So we have 13,000 businesses in the county, and we want to keep them here, and we want to grow a few more. All right? We do not want to become a buckhead. That's not the intent. We do not want to go vertical. But we do need to have to very methodically approach what our issues are here and start developing the infrastructure that's going to account for the extra 250,000 people that are going to come here. And we have to start thinking big. And I said that yesterday in the Mobility Summit. We need to start thinking of a county of 1 million people so we get ahead of the growth instead of reacting to it, which is what we're doing right now. And we never seem to get ahead of the game. So people are always complaining about the traffic. Well, look, traffic's always going to be an issue. But we need to start, for once, do something that we plan on the future and not trying to deal with the present and the actions of the past. So that's why this Mobility Summit is so important as part of the step of educating the public, is why it is that in 2022, we're going to have a referendum where we're asking you for additional revenue, all right, yeah, to build whatever it is you want that you think is going to accommodate your lifestyle in 2050.
It's a long way off, and we've got a lot to go on between then now and then. So
we do, but we also have the SPLOST of 2020, which has been transportation issues also. And I mentioned yesterday with one of the charts, we need to have somewhere around $50 million a year to pay for the necessary resurfacing to make sure our road surfaces match the lifestyle that we have here. The roads of a county reflect the county government. All right, there's a direct correlation between the two. And we underfunded the repaving of our roads in the 2016 SPLOST. And we can sit here and argue all day long what it is that we should be using SPLOST appropriately for. But ladies and gentlemen, we have decided in the past to pay for our repaving by using SPLOST dollars. And if you do not want to use SPLOST to repave your roads, then I want to know who it is going to lead the charge to raise your millage rate to do that. It seems to be a fine balance between how we get the money to do that and what it is that politically we think is the appropriate way to raise revenue from the public. But we're too far deeply into using money for repaving to take that out of SPLOST, which is why we have to make sure that we educate the public that if you do this, this will happen. If you don't do this, then this will happen.
Right, and that information campaign starts in really just a couple of months.
That's right. It starts after the new year.
Real quickly, I just wanted to touch on a meeting we had with a delegation of people from the Indian community in the metro Atlanta area. Just my takeaway from that, just how diverse the county's been and the people who are interested in possibly locating here.
Yes, and they really like what's going on right now with Cobb County. They like all the stuff that we're doing here, both from the government-wise and from the business-wise. they're a huge community of entrepreneurs. It's astounding how, as I talk to people in that community, they're young, they're educated, they really believe in the opportunities of America. So that was a chance for us to sit down in front of the Indian media and put our best foot forward. Tell them why is it you want to come to Cobb County? Why should you come to Cobb County? And we have so many elements that are attractive to the Indian community, starting with education. All right, they're a very family-centered community, and they really place a high emphasis on their kids' education. And so, obviously, the Cobb County school system, the Marietta school system, delivers that product. But more importantly, it feeds into a job market that also lends themselves to the kind of entrepreneurship and business opportunities that they seem to favor by their lifestyle and their thoughts. So it's a great chance on I think it was on Wednesday to sit down for a couple hours and tell them, look, we want you to Cobb County. If you come here, this is what you can expect, and you'll have a lifestyle that I think you'll be very, very, look very favored on, that you just decide to come here to make this your home.
Yep, there's one guy I was talking to who seemed like he was maybe in his mid-late 20s talking about owning a couple of hotels and doing this and that.
Sure.
I'm like, that's not what I was doing when I was in my mid-late 20s, but he's a motivated young man.
Yeah, well, the good news is they, if you come here, it's America, all right? And you will be successful if you're educated and you work hard. And I think that community reflects that way of thinking. But just as importantly, we have to provide the quality of life that they want, and that was what we were doing there, showing them all the aspects of what it is on the business side, the amenity side, and also the residential side here.
All right, Chairman, we'll enjoy Thanksgiving, and for everybody out there, please follow along our social media and our method of getting news from the county. That includes subscribing to the Chairman's newsletter and the other newsletters we put out. We've got a lot of information about the meeting dates next month. Might even be something about the Concord Road covered bridge out there right now. So make sure that you get the information from Cobb County and all of the methods that are available, and enjoy the holidays. We'll see you after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and I just want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. And this is a time to pause and reflect all the manifold blessings we have, not just in Cobb County, but in this country. I believe that this is the most incredible place in the world to live today, and maybe if not in history. But we've done so much, we, the board, have done so much to enhance the quality of life, your lifestyle here in the county. And I hope that somewhere in your prayers that you're thankful for what your board does, and also more importantly, what your county staff does to support your lifestyle here. These are true public servants in Cobb County. Every day they come to work trying to make life better for us, and I'm grateful for them, and I thank them personally for that. But more importantly, I want to thank you, the citizens of Cobb County, for supporting what we're doing here and coming out and being involved in your government, because it is your government and you make it great by staying involved. So a happy Thanksgiving to all of you and your friends, and many manifold blessings during this holiday season.
Thank you.